flipped the damn script in New York City. A grassroots immigrant son, socialist organizer who didn't just run, he won. And he did not win politely. He won by telling the old guard to move the hell up out the way, okay? So tonight we're asking, is this just one seat or the start of a tidal wave that's going to drown corporate Democrats clinging to their donor checks? Also, in FAFO news, Dave Chappelle and Katt Williams are using their platforms to double down. Katt Williams clapped back to Ali Saddiq. He said, nigga, I don't know you. So strap in, make sure you turn us up, because if you came here for polite politics, you're probably in the wrong place. You're probably on the wrong channel. But Truth Talks starts now.
Are y'all ready to roll? Let's go.
Wow, Dr. Sarah Fontenot coming in hot. Wow, Canada, stand up. How are you, my sister? It's been a minute. Are you good?
I'm so good, so blessed, so happy. And I missed you guys, okay? This is my Truth Talks family. I'm so happy to see you guys.
Oh, that's so nice.
Welcome back, girl. Welcome back.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryan is here as always. How are you?
I thought Sarah was going to introduce me, but I'll take you in the meantime. What's up, Truth Avengers? It's your favorite doc, Dr. Bryant. Still don't like Torre, but let's see if you can convince me to feel a different way this episode. But yeah, I can't wait to get into some really good, unapologetic, strong opinions.
That's okay. You'll win over eventually. And there's also somebody else. I haven't seen you in a while. What's your name, sir?
I typically go by Torre, but you can call me Dimitri. It's a pleasure to be here. I feel great.
What have you been doing?
You guys look great. I've been doing a lot, I've been here and there. I've been doing God's work, wherever he pushes me is where I go. So he got me here today.
Love to hear that. Let's get into it today. Number one trending truth, Katt Williams. Oh my God, the beef that's got the comedy streets buzzing. Katt Williams dropped an FAFO bomb on Ali Saddiq with 5 words that cut super deep. He said, nigga, I don't know you. Look at this.
When I bring my tour, I have 5 or 6 people opening for me, and they already come with us. Ali was not one of those people. He was not traveling with us. He was not on the tour. There are no posters and billboards that Ali was on tour with Katt. That does not exist. It was just for this venue because this is the venue he had pull at, right? So he thinks as a guy opening the show that he can come out to Every Day I'm Hustling by Rick Ross and come do his set to start the show when me, the headliner, is coming out to the same thing. I'm not even at the venue. It's my people telling this nigga, you cannot come out to that, nigga. It's Katt show. And he's telling the comedians, y'all ain't even gonna be able to follow me. I come to do 30 minutes and I'm gonna kill. And like, by the time I get to the conversation, like, either Ali can perform or I can. Maybe I'm too old. I feel like if I don't have your number and you don't have my number, we never exchange numbers, then nigga, I don't know you.
Dimitri, there's comedy etiquette as far as you got to respect the headliner who's giving you that job for that night, because Ali will probably be on an open mic or some shit if Katt ain't there letting him jump on his set for that night, opening for that. But the other thing is that there's just like respect as a human being, as a man. That's my song that I come out to. So you're just gonna come out on my song? Like, that's my established thing that I do. So it's kind of disrespectful. So, I mean, like, some people might say, oh, Katt is gatekeeping, but I think Ali's going way too far here.
Yeah, for me, I don't really see it as gatekeeping. A lot of people in our culture would call this like a clapback, but I think when you actually break down what a clapback is, it's just like a boundary with a little bass in it. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit of bass. And a lot of times that's really the only language people can actually hear. Like people take it as disrespectful sometimes, but what people don't understand is that there's really no beef or ego in what Katt Williams is saying. I know from personal experience walking out on stage, you know, with Dr. Brian as well. And if I came out to her music, it's like the crowd has already heard this. You're trying to rile the crowd up. And if I'm that, or Dr. B, we're going to say, because I took her music, I'll be the Ali. I came out and I took her music. It's a lot less appealing when she comes out. And I absolutely understand the point. I don't think you really get to attach yourself to somebody who's been in this industry for this long and try to pull something from them, because your name eventually becomes the currency you seek, and you feed your family with this. And as we know from Katt Williams, he's always put people on. I think he's speaking exactly what he needs to speak. And if you don't know him, brother, he don't know you.
Yeah, I mean, Doc, you go on stage a lot. Those little things you do when you're coming out, the music, you know, just the way you present yourself in those first seconds with the audience is an important part of the whole conversation, the whole event you're going to do. So if the performer ahead of you, be it Ali or Dimitri, steals your walk-in music, that's disrespectful.
First of all, it's disrespectful. It's unhealthy competition. Okay. And it's clout chasing to me. It's like, first of all, listen, we are all here because Katt Williams is pulling us in. He's the headliner. Sit your ass where you go, which is on stage doing your set. 48 laws of power. The first law is never outshine the master, straight up. And the master is just whoever put you on, whoever has booked you, paid you, or got you there. You can ask questions, but it better not be with the intent to outshine or disrespect. That dude has you on his show. What are you doing? One, and then two, the thing is this. You not Katt, bruh. Be you. You got your own brand. You got your own audience. We are here to have you grab a different audience that can expand what we are doing. I'm not hiring Sarah on to be a doc, straight up. I need Sarah. I need her audience. I need your brand. I need your personality. You're not here to impersonate me. Please don't do that. So you walk out to what you walk out to. I do what I do. And if you don't know, ask fucking questions. So you understand how things go.
What was the law from the 48 laws of power you said that applied here?
Never outshine the master.
You know, it is so smart that you said that. And I think that is just such an incredible point. And like, you're just nailing it, Cheyenne. It's just the perfect thing to say. So like, just chef's kiss. But Sarah, there's another aspect to this. I think that Ali is sort of clout chasing, trying to put himself on Katt's level in that moment or something. Like, what else is going on here?
Well, first and foremost, I wouldn't know who he was until Katt said his name. I had to Google this man. I was like, who is Ali Saddiq? What is he talking about? Literally had no idea. And no shots are fired. But the same way where someone could get offended by that, I don't know him either, you know? And I do feel like as soon as you say Katt Williams' name and Katt Williams then turns around and says your name, that is a form of clout chasing. It could be seen that way because anybody that Katt talks about, everyone starts Googling, me included. Who is Ali Saddiq? I did not know this man. And so for him to get to a space where he even almost put himself on Katt's level, I think that's a little laughable, but hey, so is life.
I mean, you kind of want to Google out of the situation, but also Katt just told you, I don't rate this man. I don't care about this man. I don't know him. I wasn't at the venue when he was doing his show. I don't care about you. I don't find you funny. You just happened to be on my show one time. So even the way he's mentioning him is a way to diss people, which is not like bringing him into the conversation. It's just like, what's your name again? Like somebody said, like the ultimate diss is like, who are you? Because like I don't even know who you are. Like, what are you? Oh my God, Dimitri, is there any worse situation than when Katt Williams starts talking shit about you?
You know, they say it's the greatest blessing or the biggest curse. That's what they say. Katt Williams has the ability to make your name go viral. And right now it's happening for all the wrong reasons for my boy Ali. I was familiar with who he was. before this. But the thing about it is a lot of the world was not. More people know Katt Williams. And like, I think what's very important to note about this situation, Katt Williams never said it was beef. He said you can be talented. He said you can, but don't speak on my name unless one, there's history behind it or a mutual respect. And Katt say, I ain't got that for you because I don't know you.
Don't call for me unless I called you first.
It hurt. That hurt feelings. That hurt people's feelings.
Don't test a comedy legend. He's got the mic. He's got the platform. He will shut you down. Speaking of comedy kings, Dave Chappelle is in our politicking segment because he lit up DJ Khaled for staying silent on Gaza, calling out Khaled for rarely repping his roots, even though bombs are dropping on his people. He said, Khaled, let me tell you something. For a Palestinian, this man is awfully quiet right now. And as a Palestinian, how could you be that quiet right now? And why are you so fat? People are starving. He's the only fat Palestinian on earth right now. Let's take a look at one of our co-hosts and my friend Mark Lamont Hill, who cares deeply about this Palestine issue, what he had to say about this.
If them speaking out on whatever issue mattered to them would mean they lose their job and would have a hard time getting another job, would they speak out? I'm a lot of people, there's some that's just, I'll find another way, I'm with it. But the majority, I believe, are gonna sit there and say, no, I can't risk that.
I agree. And just to tie this up, for me, I understand it. And I think we have to be strategic too, right? I don't think everything we should be dying for, everything we shouldn't be losing our jobs for. I think we have to be tactical. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. I just feel like there's always a reason not to be courageous. And the more influence and the more power you have, the more you can be courageous, but also the more you have to lose. And so for some people, they say, you know what? I mean, at the height of his fame, at the height of his success, Muhammad Ali refused the draft. He wasn't going to go to war. He wasn't going to have a gun. They wanted him to do boxing exhibitions. They wanted him to just go around the world and travel and box in front of him. There was no risk to him. But he gave up his title in a sport that you don't get better as you get older. Right. You don't punch. I seen this slap. You don't get better at fighting as you get older. So like, he made a decision to risk it all because a principle mattered.
Sarah, you might say that it's not fair to expect Khaled, who is not necessarily a political thinker, or any particular celebrity to carry the weight of entire people. But the Palestinian situation right now is a particularly challenging situation on the globe. These people are going through genocide. And part of the problem is not enough people are standing up for them. Not enough governments are recognizing Palestine. They don't have enough political power to stand up to Israel and America, who stands behind Israel in every war crime that they commit against the Palestinian people. So we need as many people as possible who are pro-Palestinian, like me, like Mark, to stand up and speak on these people's behalf, because they don't really have the same ability to speak to media the way that we do, the way that Khaled does. And I'm not saying he needs to write his own song for the Palestinian people, but he should be saying something. And even when Chappelle says, you are a fat Palestinian, it's funny, but it's not really the same ad hominem sort of dig, because it's like, these people are starving. There are hundreds of thousands of children starving in Palestine, and you're fat? Like, send them some money. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, that's so challenging. And this what's happening in Palestine is so sad. And I think that there's a lot of people that don't really necessarily understand the true hurt that's ran for as long as it has, for so many decades, right? And I can honestly say, I don't even know all of the ins and outs of everything that's been happening, but I have been paying attention to what's happening in the news today. And so for me, when I think about a celebrity and what they think, I'm over here like, if this man, being in the entertainment industry, which is mostly ran by Jewish people, a lot of Israeli and Jewish people, starts to then fight back, what happens to him? And I feel like we as a people have this issue where in America, we want to fight for everything, and thus we don't fight for anything because we've spread ourselves too thin. And I don't think that we can allow for us to put all of the pressure and expectation. He's one man. Yes, he is a wealthy man. Yes, he is a successful man. Yes, he absolutely has power. Could he mention something? Yes. I'm not saying that he shouldn't do that. I'm just saying we as a people of color or Black people have a way of not harnessing in on one thing and dealing with that one thing. And so nothing ever really gets fixed. That's
one thing I want to push back on. You're correct in saying there's a lot of Jewish folks in the entertainment business and the music business, but in this particular chapter of Israel and Palestine, which you're right, has been going on longer than all of us have been alive.
Right.
There are more Jewish Americans now who are saying, I disagree with Israel. I think Israel is genocidal. I think Israel is on the wrong track and making us as American Jews less safe. There are more Jews now who are saying that than ever before. So I don't think Khaled or anyone can say, well, I'm afraid of what American Jews will do, because a lot of American Jews agree with us, Dimitri, on that the Palestinian people are suffering from genocide.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And at the same time, I'm very close. One of my closest best friends is in the industry. She's an Israeli and Jewish woman. And I do know the fear that she has explained to me based off of being raised in Israel, now being here in America. And I do know that if you've only ever heard hate, if you've only ever heard fear, oftentimes that's the mindset that you adopt. And so I think it's just too easy to assume, because you have to remember, and I think that all of us could probably agree, that more people will fight for their belief than the truth. And sometimes the belief is rooted in hatred or rooted in fear or rooted in abandonment or whatever the story could possibly be. And so I think that it's really hard to tell a man to go and fight against the entire community, fight against whatever it is, saying whether it's right or wrong, when people are more rooted in the belief that they may have. And we don't know what beliefs people have instead of what might be the truth. The truth is what's happening is sad. It's terrible. I wish that it wasn't happening, but it is right now. And you don't know where people stand.
Yeah, part of what you're touching on, and I want to get Doc in here, is this notion that Israeli people feel like and are told that they are the victims and that they are under attack. Which nation in the Middle East attacked Iran, Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, and I'm forgetting two of them. Israel has bombed 6 nations in the Middle East over the last year, and they're committing a genocide and war crimes and apartheid in Gaza. Israel is the greatest and most bellicose actor in the Middle East. So the fiction that they are afraid of all the other nations is just made up so that they can justify morally the continued military attack on every other nation in the region and continuing to tell every other nation, we are expanding. They are occupying 3 other nations in the Middle East and want to continue expanding. Doc, of course, the other nations in the Middle East are and should be scared of Israel.
So getting back to DJ Khaled, I think that there is race, and I don't think there is race and there's culture. Race-wise, he is a Palestinian, okay? Culture-wise, he doesn't identify with that. Culture-wise, he actually identifies with the Black culture, straight up, everything about him. So I believe that there's not even anything in him that says, let me go advocate for, use my platform for, let me speak against or for. In what we're saying, his people, I believe the Black community is what he identifies with, his people. Okay. And this is why I always tell people that you have to look at the different moving parts of a person's makeup. Race-wise, I am a Black woman, Mexican and Creole. Growing up as a little girl, I identified more with Hispanic because that's a household I was in. As I became an adult woman, I identify more with being a Black woman because culturally my environment was that of Hispanic culture. So we got to look at people and say, wait a minute, okay, identity, which is culture, and race, which is or ethnicity, which is where you're born or what your bloodline is, are 2 different things. No, and yes, we can try to hold them accountable by saying you're Palestinian, and so you're supposed to fist pump and do these things. But if that man doesn't identify with that, And two, what if he doesn't have culture competence on anything of what you just spoke about, Torre? What if his level of culture competence is just watching it on social media going, oh shit, Israel's bombing my people.
No,
so he doesn't feel like he has a dog in that fight.
I think it's a really smart point that we might be expecting more from Khaled than he is willing or able to do because this is not the culture that he identifies. I think that and you, the way you filter through yourself, I think that's a really smart point. Dimitri, what do you think around, let's stay for Doc? I love that Doc brought it back to Khaled because this issue is so deep for me. And like the inability to criticize Israel for like years has been like killing me. And now we understand as a nation, like criticizing Israel is not anti-Semitic. So I'm like, all right, let's criticize Israel. And nothing I said was anti-Semitic. But we're supposed to be talking about Khaled, and Doc brought it back to Khaled. I appreciate that. So let's stay on the Khaled trade. And what do you think, Dimitri?
You know, Doc, I love the narrative, and I think it takes a very self-aware mind to even make that observation about DJ Khaled. But I think when I think about the standpoint of what Dave Chappelle is actually trying to say is that regardless if it's identity or culture, DJ Khaled hasn't stood for anything. DJ Khaled has stood on the necks of all these people who's pushed him up in the entertainment industry, and you weren't here for Black Lives Matter either, brother. Whether it was culture Dimitri. Or whether it was Gaza, you didn't stand up for anybody. And all I'm saying is sometimes real is revolutionary. It's the reason I love Dave Chappelle for what he brings to the table. He's not here just to make you laugh. He's here to make a keen observation about reality and something that's real. And all Dave Chappelle is saying is if we're not your people culturally and you don't stand up for us when we matter, you're not even standing up for your race. And we've seen it with the Kyrie Irvings. And I'm not sure what her name was, but the young lady who was on Scream, I don't know if you guys remember the latest Scream, she stood up for her race and was crucified because of it. And all I'm saying is Dave Chappelle, who's known for you've seen a man turn down $50 million. He's known for standing for something. Yeah. All he's saying is we have to force our celebrities to stand for something, whether you tweeting it or whether you making a post about it, whatever. You can silently support through funding. Like there's a million different ways. Even Muhammad Ali. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's all Dave Chappelle is really trying to say is that you stand for something or you fall for anything.
Yeah. We talk about this a lot with my wife that the younger generations, especially, the Zoomers, are saying, what do these corporations and these celebrities stand for? And I want to at least know where you stand. And there was a previous era, the Michael Jordan era, let's say, where celebrities said, don't let them know where you stand so you won't lose people. And now, people like Dimitri are like, no, I want to know where you stand. And if you don't stand for something, then I don't respect you for that. So at least own some position. You can't just own nothing. And we're like, so Khaled's silent on Palestine, you silent on BLM. All you want to be one of the black people, but you were silent on BLM. You got to talk at some point. You got to say something. But let me move forward to our main topic because it's centered on New York City. And I love when we talk about New York City on this show. And I love when we're talking about progressive politics on this show because we're going to call bullshit on the old guard in New York City. My candidate for mayor, Zohran Mamdani, kicked the door in with an unexpected win in the Democratic primary and made the Democratic establishment sweat bullets. They are mad at him. But why did he win when so many radicals and far-left progressives get crushed? And who else has the balls to break through this same system? Let's look at this video about my man, Zohran Mamdani.
And they didn't throw your name in the hat at first. It was just...
Look, let me tell you, I was sitting in a coffee shop in Astoria. This is right before we launched the campaign. Somebody in politics showed me a poll. And I was looking at the beginning of the poll, and they were like, no, keep looking. Keep looking. And then I was there at 1%.
Damn.
They were like...
That's what you said. Right.
Yeah.
How'd you make the poll rise?
Pause.
I think just by being consistent.
Yeah.
From the beginning of the race, from October 23rd, the first day, I said this was a campaign about affordability. I said this was a campaign about New Yorkers who have built this city, who are being pushed out of this city. And I said that I was going to do three things. I was going to freeze the rent. I was going to make the slowest buses in America fast and free. I was going to deliver universal childcare. And it got to the point where I can go to a rally and I can say, I'm going to freeze and the crowd will say rent. Buses fast and free, universal childcare. People know. And I think for too long, politics has become about a person as opposed to a platform. And New Yorkers see themselves in that. And, growing up in this city, so many of the people that have helped to raise me, that I've grown up with, they haven't always seen themselves in our politics. They have, they haven't voted in a lot of these elections. The last mayoral primary, 26% of Democrats voted.
Look at that. See, if I said Democratic Socialist, Sarah would run screaming from the room. But when I say free childcare, free buses that move quickly. Look, one of our Truth Tellers super fans had this to say, Newton Ray, thanks for the super chat. The system is collapsing. Life is too unaffordable. And all politicians say is that we are lazy for not having 3 jobs. We are burned out. So when you see someone like Zohran Mamdani with real progressive ideas to help working class people. When we talk about he wants to have grocery stores that are basically owned by the city or the state that are going to give people lower prices. This does not mean taking over grocery stores, but adding them, free buses, childcare. These are all things that are going to help the working class, right? Freeze the rent. This is all about the working class. So is this a system that you can even get behind? Is he really reaching out to people who are feeling the crush that Black people have felt for a long time?
Oh, I think he's speaking the language that people want to hear. That's called politics, baby. You got to know your audience. You got to understand that cost of living is high. So yeah, let me talk about making sure that I freeze or lower the rent or affordable housing, right? You know that, the working class happen to be parents, many single mamas, or even give single fathers their flowers as well, who do need free childcare. Okay, so these are things that, as an elected official, especially at the city level, or the state level, as far as mayor, to talk about public safety. There's certain things we know to talk about at certain levels of politics. I'm not saying that he's not going to deliver them. I hope he does. But I also love what he said when he said politics had become about people, not about the people, not about not about legislation, not about policy. Okay, these are celebrities who are politicians who are trying to be celebrities. They want name recognition. They want a brand. They're not in it to say, let me make legacy so that I can have results on the people I'm serving. A political position, elected official, is a service position. And how many people, like he just stated, are in it to say, hey, look at me, right? I want a photo op. I want to be a celeb. I want to be able to have people name drop my name when I'm in places. I want the entitlement that comes with saying I'm elected official. Somebody wants me. I'm in office. And so I hope that he can, and he's not just politicking to the people, because a lot of politicians do that, Torre. You learn your audience. Listen, I was going to run for city council and then run for mayor of LA. And the first thing my campaign team was, we got to learn our audience. We have 51% of Hispanics here. We got to talk to the Hispanics, Doc. No, we have to talk to people. We have to talk policy. We have to talk to the people we're going to serve. We can't just talk to one group because they are the masses, although we do need their vote. So it's a thin line.
Sarah, what do you think about what Mamdani's victory says about what's going on within the Democratic Party and the old guard not being able to really serve the people in the way that it used to? Because he beat Andrew Cuomo, which is, the Cuomo name in New York politics is gigantic. So this was a massive upset.
Yeah, I think he's like Dr. B just said, he's speaking the language of the people. And more so, he's being so intentional, because notice that he was having that conversation on The Breakfast Club. You know, the audience of who listens to The Breakfast Club, this man is being intentional about saying a message. But you know what? How many times have we seen people come in on their white horse and say that they're going to save, the middle class or the lower class? We're going to have childcare. We're going to make more money. We're going to make this free. We're going to create this access. And then they get in and turns out it's just a Trojan horse. How many times are we going to get duped from the beginning? So honestly, I don't know that I can necessarily believe everything that he's saying. Honestly, the first thing I thought of, he's saying this on The Breakfast Club. I'm like, oh, this man is intentional. This man is calculated, and this man is strategic. And one thing about Black people, we're passionate. We are a very passionate people, and I feel like that might be a big part of it.
Well, and Sarah, Black folks call shit out. That's one thing we are good for. We will call each other out. We will call your ass out, and we will let you know this is a wolf in sheep clothing. And I'm not the sheep that hears your voice.
Right.
When it comes to leadership. And I love that you mentioned he's on Breakfast Club because that's knowing his audience. Breakfast Club has a very, very unique audience of who's listening to him. Now, again, I hope that this, he looks like a young man to me. This young man delivers his promises and is not just another politician, because people, especially Black folks, people or minority folks, we are really, really, really battle fatigue with hearing promises and really getting under deliverance. And it's messed up.
One of the parts of the Mamdani campaign that I don't know if folks understand this if they're not in New York is that he was repeatedly asked about Israel, and he would get asked questions that go deep into like, well, does Israel have the right to exist? Which I'm like, why is the New York City mayoral candidate being asked questions about, you know, the state of Israel, right? I mean, like, Jewish New Yorkers are absolutely within his purview, but he answered these questions in the very thoughtful and pro-Palestinian way, wanting to hold Israel accountable and yet never saying anti-Semitic things. And this was very threatening to a lot of people, but he understood this is how he really feels. But also the Democratic Party has shifted from pro-Israeli to pro-Palestinian. So he was right part of that wave. And there's a big separation, right? Because a lot of the Democratic elected officials are not there yet. So we're seeing Hakeem Jeffries, right? The big Democratic congressman from New York, not yet endorsing. We're seeing Kirsten Gillibrand, one of the senators from New York, not endorsing. Chuck Schumer, senator from New York, not endorsing, right? Partly because AIPAC and the Jewish lobby is so much a part of what makes them successful. So we're seeing a lot of Dems, big Dems, not giving their support to him, threatened by the progressivism, but also the pro-Palestinian nature of his entire campaign. So how far do you think the establishment will go to stop him, or will they eventually say, okay, let's support him?
You know, I think that's a problem in itself. That's always been a problem in itself. I think for me, right, to see someone from the block, and I ain't saying he from the hood, I ain't saying, but like finally get a seat at the table, right? It's less about winning than it is about changing the game. You can get in. They may let you in. Okay, we won by the grace of God, but how many times does it get flipped over, or do we end up with the donors? Like, you start off with the people, but somehow you end up with the donors. Somehow you got bought out just like everybody else. And I think that's what I take away from this all. That's the biggest note. I think I love what he's saying. He said things like the world doesn't need billionaires or something to that degree. And I think, listen, I'm with you when you're right, but my problem is we clap so loud when we finally get there that we stop holding them to these expectations. These people get bought out quickly. So all of these things and all of these rallies and everything, he got people yelling here and there, it quickly turns over. And we've seen it. And I ain't going, there was only Obama got in, and we were so grateful Obama got in the presidency. But then the moment he got there, he couldn't do much. They wouldn't let him do that.
We changed the healthcare system in America, Dimitri. So we didn't.
He did a lot.
That was massive.
It was, and I'm not to discredit, you know what I'm saying, what he did do, but there was a lot more that needed to be done. There was only certain rules he could oblige by. And I think that's the biggest point. You have to play their game unless you flip the game over.
Right. And this is my thing, though. When he's saying we don't need billionaires, see, this is the problem that I have with Dems, because they want to spoon feed people and tell them they don't need money. But let me tell you what it takes to put the food in the spoon that you're feeding them with: money, because money creates resources. So again, now you're feeding a group of people a false narrative by saying, I'm going to freeze the rent. I'm going to offer free childcare, which is great. Not against it. Hold on. And then I'm also going to figure out how I can do these other free things. Free stuff comes from government assistance. That's still spoon feeding our community. At what point do we help our community get the spoon dip it in a pie and feed themselves, which is called interdependence. And so again, that is an issue when it comes to the Democratic Party, where I do see Republicans saying, wait a minute. I understand help and assistance, but damn it, at what point do we teach the people to not just get to the well, to drink the water, become ownership of the well and the water, and then start up this strategic generational wealth and political strategy so that we don't have to try to get people to move us into position. We have a strategy and a collective where we know who's next in position. I have a big problem when people dissipate the main thing that creates resources, y'all, which is money.
Wait, hold on. You're conflating two things that he's not talking about. We don't have a problem with money. We have a problem with the hoarding of wealth. Billionaires are hoarding wealth and thus keeping the mass of community, a mass of people poor, below working class, right? I think it's like 95% of the wealth is held by like 1% or 3% of the citizens. Like that is massive income inequality. And it's not about, we don't want money. It's that having a tiny number of people who do not pay their fair share in taxes, hoarding the wealth and making money through, instruments rather than, investment instruments rather than working. They're not hiring people. They're not making the economy better. They are a cancer on the economy. Go ahead, Doug.
Hold on. You said something okay, Torre. So now you prove my theory. It's not about not needing billionaires. You just said the fucking plan. We need to tax them differently. We need to make sure they're investing their billions in a different way. We need to make sure that if they are doing business in any community, how are they contributing to that community? How are they making an investment for the betterment of the collective of that community? How are they donating or contributing to the programs of these government assistance? If we're going to give free healthcare, if we're going to give free childcare, it's what you said. We do need people with money. We just have to make sure that we hold a different tax bracket, a different accountability, and different bylaws is the wrong word, but rules and regulations around how and what is done. Not with their money in their household, but with their money when they're in our communities. Okay. That's exactly what. But wait, we cannot say we don't need people with money. What are we talking about?
No, but
money creates a great quality of life. Money creates policy. It creates legislation. It creates healthcare. It creates food. It creates resources. We can't do without it. But you just said it. Hold on. Don't backpedal. We need to make sure we're holding billionaires accountable so the wealth isn't being something that's concentrated in one area. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit here and say we don't need resources because we don't need money because resources take money. I'll wrap on this. I'll wrap on this. You can never be broke enough to help a poor person get rich, and you can never be sick enough to help a sick person get healing. That's not how it works.
I don't know what that means. Money.
Of course you don't know. I wouldn't expect you to know what that means.
Money creates legislation. That is absolutely correct. The 1% controls the political system. They create legislation that helps themselves. They are not creating legislation that is benevolent, that is helping the masses of people, and certainly not ever hurting themselves. The 1% that we are talking about control the political system, and everything that happens legislatively and financially is for their personal benefit. So go ahead, Sarah. So we it's not like, well, we need money. Well, yes, they are controlling the system. We cannot hold them accountable or have them pay a fair share of taxes when they are the ones who are entirely controlling the political system.
Torre, we control that. Sarah, I'm gonna tap you in, sis. One second. Torre, the way we control that, sweetie, is we actually have a party called the Democratic Party. That ain't got shit. We ain't got the House, we ain't got the Senate, and we don't got the Supreme Court. You know why? Because we didn't strategize, which includes a financial plan on where we're investing, our Democratic coins for certain legislation and policies, as well as who we are going to put in office, Torre. You have to have people in, Torre, you have to have people in position to be able to vote on legislation.
It's not that Republicans, you're completely misunderstanding the system. It's not that Republicans are controlled by the wealthy and Democrats are for the people. The Democrats are also controlled by the wealthy, both parties, all legislation out of both parties is controlled by what the 1% wants.
You're proving my point. You're proving my point.
To be for the people, but they actually, the wealthy never have legislation happen that they wouldn't want to happen. That would never, ever happen. So we're never going to be taxing them or holding them accountable. They control the system. Go, Sarah.
Yeah, so I think the actual issue, while everyone is arguing about Republicans and Democrats and conservatives and socialists and all of these different things, the problem is that the message that these people have continued to pacify a victim mentality. And the problem with the victim is they're always seeking a savior. And so if you think of the people where all you have to say is the buzzwords, the clickbait of, we're going to help you with childcare. We're going to, make transportation free for everyone. We're going to freeze your rent. These are all things that are not actually solving the issue of making someone an interdependent human. This is a way for us to make sure, because I heard you say it, Touré, probably 15 times in this conversation. They are the problem. They are the billionaires. They are the this. They are the that. It's creating division.
And victimized mindset like his. He got that victimized mindset. Move out that.
And this is what I'm saying. You cannot help the broke if you're one of them. Let's be perfectly clear. That's what Dr. B said. You cannot help the broke if you're one of them. Whether you are a Democrat, whether you are Republican, none of that matters. It's all fugazi. It doesn't matter. The truth is we need to do what we need to do in order to put ourselves into position where we aren't necessarily always the victim. So now I'm thinking of the legislation that this man is saying, rather than, we're gonna don't speak to the wound. I'm so sick and tired of seeing leaders speak to the wounds of people to rally them up, to pacify us just enough for us to vote for you to then get in office and flip the script. I'm tired of it.
I think that the poor, Dimitri, more than any other class, need the government to help them to get through the day, which we call welfare, to be safe, which we call policing, to have housing, which we call public housing. They are the people who need help from the government more than people of other classes, right? The upper class can use government to get where they want to go, but the working classes need government's help. That doesn't mean they're victims. They have problems and government can help solve them. Free childcare is a massive thing for many.
That's a good thing.
Who will be able to work and work farther away from home when the city is taking care of their health, their childcare, right?
So we already said that. We agreed on that. We all agreed that free childcare, I don't care what your socioeconomic status, everybody needs childcare, whether you're paying for it, if you can't afford it. Yes, we all already agreed that in healthcare should be free. That's a human right. We get that.
Here we go again, Touré. It's us against them. I'm with you when you're right, brother. It's hard to change a system you have no say in, you have no control over. And the thing about it is, people of poor stature are born into this. And I get what you're saying. I hear you guys, but if the rich is making the rules and saying what the taxes need to be and who pay what, because you have a say in this government, you view the government as a friendship. These poor people view the government as assistance. They need help in terms of building anything. But if the structure is designed to keep the poor people poor, because that's all that's going on. If the structure is designed to keep the poor people poor, and like you said, Ms. Fontaine, people come out and they say these key words like healthcare and free bus and all of these things.
Fontaine in the building.
Listen, if people come out and they say all these things, it's not about what you say to a degree. It's more about what applies, what actually comes to life. They're not saying the wrong things. It's just every time we hear these things, the action's never taken. Every time they get in, nothing happens.
Ms. Fontaine, you know what? If you are an elected official, do you know what you spend most of your time each day doing?
Tell me.
Talking to donors. And you can't do that from your office so if you are in the House or the Senate, you have an office in the Congress, right? So you can run to the floor, but you cannot make money calls there. So you have to leave and go across the street to a DNC or RNC building where there you can call rich people. You spend most of your day doing that. So then you see where someone like Mamdani, who is a disruptor, who is trying to play the game differently, may run into a challenge when he gets into the flow of being an elected official. And you spend time solving problems, but you also spend a lot of time with donors talking to them about what do they need so they can give you money. This is one of the ways that people become corrupted as time goes on. And there are certain people who rise above that. I think AOC and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are people who rose above that. It remains to be seen if someone like Mamdani, who can keep his radical edge once he's inside the system that he wants to change.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. There's a difference between help and handicap. That's it. There's a difference between help and handicap. You know, I can take full care of my child up until my demise and then leave them more financial and resource care, and they can become someone who is just well taken care of, but they become handicapped because of my help. And what happens when you handicap someone is just that. They become disabled. And that disability, by helping without teaching and giving a strategy and resources and giving a torch, you end the help that is meant to assist for a long-term plan. And so I'm not against government assistance. I'm not against people getting help. What I'm against is getting lifelong help. What I'm against is people continuously having baby after baby after baby because they know that child creates check after check after check. What I am saying is, Touré, you can look all you want. Hold on.
1983? What are we doing right now?
Hold on. I'm doing exactly
about?
this. I'm not done, Touré. Please don't deflect because you can't take the message. Hang
What
in there.
are you
You have your
talking
chance
about,
to talk.
though?
What I'm saying is,
people are just having babies for a check.
Help and handicap is two different things. Is what I'm trying to explain to you. Helping, and when you're talking about politicians having to speak to the donors majority of their time being in office, and then having to have the balance of being a service person because they're in a service position, that's how pay to play comes into play. Because they're sitting there trying to figure out, how do I appease the donors who are contributing to me so that keeps the wealth and the plan and them serving only one group of people, to your point. And they're not saying, I have a duality of making sure that I serve the people who also may have not had all the money, but they played a role in voting me into office. There is a duality. And I'm going to land with this because I stand on this and I will double down, is that, again, we have to learn as a people, no matter what party we're in, especially the Democratic Party, how to help build people, not help handicap them. That is a problem within our community and within that party.
Black working class people work very hard.
Yes, they do.
I think that a lot of them have had a difficult time in life, generationally, relating back to slavery and segregation, the reasons why they are dumped into projects and hoods where they probably don't want to live. They may have a great time there, but these are sub-livable situations in a lot of times, not of their making, and they work extraordinarily hard. And the assistance that we give them is not handicapping them, it's not keeping them poor, it's keeping them alive. And I think government owes it to the most needy, vulnerable people in its society, in its citizenry, to help them and take care of them. I wouldn't want these people slipping through the cracks and becoming homeless or worse because they can't, because they missed a shift.
Well, then why is that happening? Then why is that happening? Why is it that the help you're talking about has actually immobilized our community, has actually marginalized us more, has actually caused more disparities? Touré, what you're saying is completely contradictory to one study, two statistics. Have you driven or visited an inner city or a hood any time recently, even in the last 5 years?
Have you seen anything about New York City? You would know that we are mixed class everywhere.
Have you seen the disparity there? Have you looked at our health stats, just in STDs alone, diabetes alone? Have you looked at our social economic status? Where you been, my brother? Where you been? Because everything you're talking about, the assistance has not helped us monetize, social economically advance or expand. The ones who are making it out are bear crawling and making it out on their own, Touré. That's what's happening. That's why it's our responsibility to go back into our hoods and figure out how we help our people, because the government is disabling and handicapping us. It's not assisting us to allow us to be in a place of learning, health, financial literacy. We don't learn any of it. We get given $800 a month and told, figure it out. We get given food stamps of $500 a month and say, can you eat good on that? No, we cannot. It's not good enough. The assistance is not helping us. It is marginalizing us. It is despairing us. And I'm so tired of people like you thinking, let them spoon feed us because all we know is to be spoon fed. That in its own self is a representation of dictatorship. That's how you control somebody. That's how you control somebody.
Hold on one second. If you knew anything about New York City, you would understand that the classes all live together.
Okay.
I live a stone's throw away from the projects. I cannot get to the studio without passing through the projects.
Hooray.
No. We are a multi-class situation in New York City, all over the place, as opposed to LA, which is much more segregated as far as class. Hold on.
With a lot of homelessness and a lot of despair.
All class behavior and I cannot move through New York City without passing through all three classes on one block usually. The notion that assistance is hurting us is probably straight out of the mouth of Clarence Thomas. That is absolutely not true. How could you, a people who deserves reparations, how could you argue that we don't deserve assistance from the government when we could demonstrate I am poor? And I believe
I didn't say we don't deserve assistance. I said we don't deserve assistance.
Are there
You're not going to put words in my mouth. I did not say we don't deserve assistance. I said we don't need assistance that handicaps us. You're not going to semantics my words. That's not what I said. Help is okay. Handicap is not. I stand on that.
I don't know what that means. Nobody knows.
So let me just dive in here really quick. So I personally, and I know I'm the conservative thinker in the group, but I personally think that a lot of the language, and I'm even hearing it right now, a lot of the language is a victim mentality. And the problem with the mentality is it takes something crazy in order for it to change. I personally believe that if you are a healthy, able-bodied person, it is a cop-out for you to rely on, because the problem is good is the enemy to great. Right. And so the problem we're going so off topic, and this is what we do. We don't stay on topic. We don't stay focused so that we make sure that Zohran, when he comes into office, if he comes into office, that he actually delivers on the problems. How about we get wealthy Democrats there are so many wealthy Democrats that are giving him money, that are not trying to manipulate him for power, that are not trying to take advantage of the system, that are not trying to pacify the victim mentality people. Because the truth is, Touré, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, do people have terrible circumstances? Yes. Is poverty real? Yes. Is gang violence real? Yes. Is crime real? Yes. All of these things are the truth. And the truth is, the more that we focus on that instead of focus on the change, we will never get to the change. You continue to perpetuate what you feel most passionate about. So if you're passionately saying, I deserve to have assistance, I deserve to have help. Yes. Okay, great. And also, what's the exit strategy? There are so many people that are saying, you know what, this is hard. Well, okay, I need a person in my life that says, yes, this is hard, but what are we going to do about it? And we don't do enough of that in our community. We stay pacified. We allow them to see a little bit of the changes that they're making inside of our lives, or the little bit, like, you think $800 a month is going to change somebody's life?
Oh my God.
No, hold on. Wait.
Please clip that.
Wait.
You will not be able to go online. Oh my God.
I've been quiet.
Yes.
Hold on.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding.
Hold on. Wait.
You think $800?
$800 make a difference?
Listen.
Oh my God.
Touré, listen.
Dimitri and Touré.
You said it already.
Wait. No.
I've been so quiet. I've been so good.
Go after me. This is what I'm saying. $800 a month, right? If you're getting $800 a month, and that is all of the income that you're getting, and that is all that you rely on, like Dr. B says, that is a handicap. That is completely different from—
So the government shouldn't give you money?
No, I'm saying if all you do is rely on $800 a month, do you think $800 is going to allow us to have a Black economy that can make a difference for us as a Black people? No, that is a selfish way of living. That's not a way of actually helping you to make an actual difference. If you're only thinking about you, is it not selfish?
You know, I've been sitting here quiet. I've been sitting here quiet the whole time. Way back when Dr. Brian asked, Touré, have you visited the hood? I visit the hood. I frequent, very, very frequently. And the thing about it is, I think what like you said, with $800, it's not going to change your life. But it does help you feed your children.
True.
Help you get to where you need to go.
True.
It does keep your lights on. There's a lot of things I think we missing.
$800. Where do you live?
Hold on, wait.
I was quiet.
Hold on, wait.
Let him go.
$800 to you, to everybody on here, is a different $800 than somebody in the hood. Two completely different value and amounts of money. $800 to them is a lot of money, especially when you can't get a job, especially when you can't get to your job, especially when you can't put food in your child's mouth. It means something different. And for the government, right, to throw $1 million, $1 trillion, $1 billion at people who already have it to sustain. And you telling me people in the hood don't deserve it. That's greedy. That's selfish. For them to be using the exact same dollar that somebody else up hot 1% in office as you. That's insane talk to me. And I think the idea of it, when you actually speak to people in this 1%, they're going to preach that exact same narrative. They're going to say the exact same thing. Victim mentality.
Do you think that people in the hood and Newton Ray said life is too unaffordable? Politicians say we're lazy, got to have 3 jobs. Dimitri, do you find that people who are on assistance are lazy or handicapped by that assistance or damaged somehow by getting assistance from the government?
No one said damaged. No one said lazy. Wait, because I got to hear that. No one said damaged. And we didn't say they don't deserve it. That's not what we said.
Let him talk.
I know some of the hardest working people living in Section 8. I know somebody who working 3 jobs, right? And the moment they reach over a certain amount on their dollar, it's snatched from them. It's gone. Or the voucher goes up and the rent's higher than it's supposed to be. I know some of the hardest working people taking a bus way across the city to pick up them kids because they can't afford to buy a car right now. It's either keep the lights on or so they do what they got to do. I hate this narrative that everybody that's poor is lazy. How about I'm trying to fight an uphill battle and I haven't made it over the hill yet? Yeah. How about the government isn't helping or making it easy for me to make it over the hill?
Oh, hold on. You know why they're working 3? Hold up. You know why they're working 3 jobs, Mitri? You know why? Because the cost of fucking living is insane. You know why $800 is what the government wants to give people in the inner city? Because I come from the hood. Because they know that $800 is not going to touch the cost of living. You know why they give you that little bit of pennies and a little bit of breadcrumbs? Because they know that they won't help you get to the loaf. So you are saying and proving my exact point. Do people deserve assistance no matter where they are if they are at a deficit? Absolutely. But do they deserve assistance that is going to keep them in the breadcrumbs, knowing that they'll never get the loaf? Have them doing just what you said, Dimitri, working 2, 3, 4 jobs, never getting to spend the real wealth, which is with their family, never being able to really parent their kids, never ever being able to get themselves to de-stress because they are stressed out, depressed. Their health conditions are out the water because of them having to work multi-jobs, having to figure out how they're going to get their kids in recreational sports, how they're going to get their kids to college, because the government knows if I give you $800, if I can give you $500 in food stamps, that is not going to be enough for you. So I can keep you stressed out, I can keep you overwhelmed, and I can keep you on system overload. That is what I'm saying is, yes, we do need to help people who need help. We need to teach them how to help themselves at the end of the day, because $800 will handicap the person. Not the person is handicapped for needing it. The system is handicapped and broken for giving us something they know does not even help or touch a socio-economic way of living. It's sad.
You're saying they deserve more money, that we should be giving them more, because we're not giving them enough. If that's the question.
Wait, Torre, hold on.
Absolutely. Give them more.
Torre, this might be the only 2 seconds that I even like your black ass for a second. In addition to giving them more, hold on, because I don't believe in giving more without teaching. If I'm going to give you more, let me teach you how to manage money. Let me teach you how to grow money. Let me teach you generational wealth. Let me teach you how you can learn to sustain your family over time. The goal is not to be on government assistance forever. The goal is called assistance. Assist me and then teach me how I take this and expand. Give me some skill set. Give me free college. Give me some training. If you're going to help me with $1,000, $5,000 a month, can you show me how I can make 10,000? Can you show me at some point, how do I get a skill? What do I do with this? You're handicapping me if all you do is cook and serve me. I'm sorry. That's just what it is.
Yeah, and just for clarity, first of all these people that we're talking about, that was me. Right? I moved from Canada to America by myself at 20 years old to pursue an acting career. Okay. So 1, I'm a cliche. 2, it was a super struggle. And I was that girl debating whether I was going to put food in my fridge or gas in my car. I was that girl that was digging in my couch so that I could find change to put $3 on pump 5. And not because I was in a rush, but because that was literally all of the money that I had. I was also that girl that got sued for $3,500 because when I moved out of my apartment in the 4 years that I lived there, I only paid my rent twice on time. So I'm not saying that I don't understand what it is like to come from poverty or be in poverty or experience what it is to be poor. What I'm saying is, what are you doing inside of or alongside of the $800 assistance? How are you developing your skill set? And for me, what that looked like was I slipped and fell into entrepreneurship. I always say there are 4 things that you can do in order to figure out whether you can make money on the side. Yes, okay, have that job, get that assistance, but what are you building in the interim? Number 1, what are you great at? Number 2, what do people need? Number 3, is it helping people? And number 4, is it monetizable? Like, can you monetize it? And when you have those 4 things and people are constantly asking you, maybe you're a great speaker, maybe you're a great writer, maybe you're great at making labubus. I have no idea. Maybe make the little outfits for labubus. Maybe you're great at knitting kitten hats. There is something for absolutely everyone. And just like this man, Zohran, is running and he got in front of the right audience and he's hitting all of those same pain points for someone else, those are the skill sets that people need to learn. Why are we learning how to play the recorder in school, but they're not teaching us about taxes? They're not teaching us about loopholes, because like Warren Buffett says, if you were born broke, that's not your fault. But if you die broke, that is your fault. And I don't think for a healthy, able-bodied person that it's okay for you to just sit there and take whatever life gives you. Decide. That's all I'm saying.
There's an issue there, though. I mean, that's a very simplistic comment from the great Warren Buffett. Two-thirds of the bankruptcies in this country come from medical catastrophes. Mm-hmm. People had insurance, but something medically happened to them that destroyed their body to the effect that it destroyed their bank account.
Yes.
Nobody could be prepared for that. Nobody could be prepared that their industry collapses and that they don't have a job anymore. I mean, like, there's many reasons why you could run out of money, and that has nothing to do with you and your fault. I just don't like the idea of looking down on people who have failed at capitalism as if that's some character failing, when quite often it's not. Sometimes it is, but quite often, Dimitri, it's not a character failing at all. It's the complexity of the game of capitalism.
First off, kudos to you and for moving and everything, and that's great. Great job on making it up. But there's a lot of people who can't afford to do where you started. There's a lot of people who don't have a passport. There's a lot of people who we can't afford it, right? There's things we can't do, right? Because there's options. Imagine attempting to move, but I can't, right? Because my mother failed my grandmother and my grandma did this, and my grandma's been sick ever since I was born. So the only caregiver in the family can be me, right? And the thing about it is, people say, we sit and we talk about government assistance and housing and all these things. Maybe that's all I have to help me. Maybe I want to do better, but I can't because these things are now on my back. I think the idea of it is we sit and we can mention these bills, but imagine being born in the debt the moment you came out. When I was younger, I learned, and listen, I don't know about the, crime thing, but I learned how to cut the lights on illegally because we had no choice as a child. I remember it being wintertime, having to go outside, shovel snow, and melt it in a tub. So just hear you had a $3,000, $500 bill, $3,500 bill is one thing. But to hear as a child, I have people around me that cannot function and have a quality of life because of a hole I raised them into. That's what the hood is looking like. The hood is looking like, okay, I was failed here. I am going to, and all I'm saying is this. Like I said about it in the beginning, to say these things to the people, that's great. That's a beautiful sentiment. But to apply them, and I understand y'all narratives and saying, okay, but you're handicapping them here, or I'm giving them the quality, I'm giving them something to survive off of. Everybody in the street that's homeless ain't homeless because they chose to be or they were lazy. Sometimes they ran out of options on what life could do for them.
Right.
And a big thing to note that I think we keep forgetting: education matters. You use the word monetization. A lot of people in the hood don't even know what that word means.
It's a book, Dimitri. It's so many excuses and cop-out. I'm tired of it. And that's the problem. You keep saying the hood, and that's the problem. It's a mindset. It's a mentality. And that's really the problem. You're not born into debt. You're born into the mentality of debt. And then you don't take the time to learn it. You could go get a book from the library.
If you're born and your mama can't afford the baby formula to feed you, what is that? Right. Is that a mentality, or is that?
If you're working week to week, if you're paycheck to paycheck, you don't have time. There's no book that can help you monetize that.
My school ain't have a fucking library growing up. Excuse my language. I ain't cussing at you, but I'm just saying.
Did you have a library in your city?
We didn't have a library growing up.
Did you have YouTube? Did you have Google? Did you have the internet?
Much harder than you're saying. It's not that easy.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. And that's the problem with people. Y'all keep saying it's so hard. It is hard. It's damn hard. You know how hard I've worked in my life? You know all the things and the sacrifices that I've made? You know how many hits I have taken over and over and over again? And you said, Torre, that you failed. You said we failed at capitalism. I have failed at capitalism. I just haven't stopped failing. And that is the difference. If you get hit and you get knocked down, you get back up.
You know,
I don't know.
I don't think we're gonna have
it's so ignorant.
Here. So let's go and ask the chat.
Ignorant. It's ridiculous.
Let's ask the chat, because I feel like the people we're talking to, the people who may watch this show, may understand a different perspective that you're just not privy to. It's not until you were there that you know what it is like. It's not. And imagine being in a classroom full of 50 kids and they're trying to teach you all, and you telling me go pick up a book. I'm trying to get it from my teacher, but they can't give me the time and attention I need. I'm gonna let the chat decide, because the chat on fire right now. Yeah, we done scorched them up. So let's just go and ask the chat and see what they say.
And I know we rapping, and I'm not gonna go long. You could ask somebody who's been in the hood and went to the hills, but I'm not gonna go there, because on both sides, I understand both positions, and I picked up a book. I still got books, and I'm giving out books through my Dr. Bryant Foundation. Go on, Dimitri.
It's just amazing to me, man. I see it every day, how loud people clap for me because I came from the hood and made it out. Mm-hmm. But you got to understand, it's not as easy as you think it is. It's not moving from Canada to America.
It doesn't need to be easy, Dimitri. You just need to do the work. Who's looking for easy? But here's the thing. Easy? It's work, baby. It's work.
You're missing my point. There's no parental funding coming from this way. I had to get up and go get it from until you say I can work a day job to understand and learn and grow. By the time you made it to where I was when I did something for myself, a lot of people are already set in their ways. And I think we got to let the chat decide on this one, because man, we got to leave this open for debate. And I would love to have another conversation about this, but I think the exact same mentality we're pushing on the people who are poor is the exact same reason they're poor in the first place. That's just me. But we're going to go and wrap it up. Hey, Torre, if you want to take it away, listen, I am amazed at this episode. Drop it in the chat. Let me know if you're with me. Lovers, I know you're there. Please give stories and explain what your narratives and what your perspectives have been. How was you raised? Do you think you could have been a millionaire if you came from nothing? Please explain it to me, because I would love to know.
So here we are. Zohran's cracked the door open, but the question is, who's bold enough to kick it off the hinges next? We saw Stacey Abrams galvanize Georgia. That was so exciting. She flipped the entire state. I love her. And then she got pushed aside. The old guard's watching, the donors are dialing, and you better believe the knives are out. They want the status quo. One thing for sure, doing things the old way is certainly going to have us losing the war. Stay fired up, because the next insurgent might be listening right now. And who knows, that person might be you. That's all we have for tonight. Like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel at TruthTalks-Live. Continue to watch us simulcasting on the Black Star Network after Roland Martin Unfiltered. We appreciate the lead-in from the big dog. Support Black media at CashApp, Truth Talks Live, or on any of the links you see on the screen. Support us also by advertising with Truth Talks and reach our 10 million person viewing audience on all of our social platforms. Small businesses and influencers, you can advertise with us too. Visit TruthTalksLIVE.com and become a VIP member of the Truth Lounge and click on any co-host room. But do not click on Dr. Bryant's room because there's nothing in there.
Look, you're going to get limited amount of assistance in my room.
She doesn't want you to be a victim. Oh my God, you're handicapped. Oh my God. Support our show by telling a friend to tell a friend to check us out every night, 8 p.m. EST and 8 p.m. PST. We'll be back every weeknight with you to argue and keep it real at 8 p.m. We'll see you tomorrow night. It's Truth.